Hey there, it's so much bleaker than I remember, and not just the one scene. Forgot about the dick measuring and the delightful prostitute. And if you remember Louise and Moritz, who played the tequila girl, she was on every game show from that time. That was her first movie role that I remember. Devastating. And there's the cut from the abortion of pizza. That's awesome. Anywho, let's bring out the villain, the most adorable villainess of the 80s. She broke our hearts in a good way as Monique, the French exchange student bit off dead. Princess Joanna and Bill and Ted. And for me, is an underrated and ambitious second time lucky. Ladies and gentlemen, Dianne Franklin.
Well, it is Bleak Week, isn't it? I'm the reason.
How could you? Now, I'm sure you have hundreds of fans every day telling you how they had a big crush on you, but how many of them tell you that you ripped their heart out?
Just as many. Just as many. It's not, you can't do a film like this without, well, that's love, isn't it? If you don't feel the pain, then I'm sorry, that wasn't love. Love is, it's true.
This time I have a little bit of a fuck Gary opinion. She's a bit of a vampire. But let's break, I just think that last shot, your last close-up is so great. There's so much going on there. I'd love to break it down. You have just the right amount of guilelessness, just the right amount of compassion, just the right amount of defiance of I'm evil and I don't care. And yet, sweetness. What did you go through to get that, or am I just putting way too much thought into it?
No. Actually, this entire movie was based on, for me, it was based on that ending. It really was. That ending, when I read the script, I knew what I wanted to do in the end. Although we originally, obviously, when we got the script, we thought they're going to change the ending. We thought they were going to change it.
Oh,
but,
really? Did you want them to change it?
Oh, yeah. We all, Lawrence, Steve, and I all went to Boaz and said, you're going to change the ending, right? This is not how it's going to end. We all thought we were writers. We learned the first time, oh no, the actors don't have anything to do with the story. Zip it. So yeah, that was the first time I
wish.
Right? But yeah, no, we all thought it was going to end with a happy ending. We told the director to change it, and he said, but Dianne, this is my life. These happen. It's true. And I think, a lot of the stuff in the movie happened in real life, which is one of the reasons I love the film, because I think it's sex education for guys. I really went to. But I think it really talks about love and sex. But anyway, we want to break down the ending. Let's go.
Well, was it shot toward the end of the shooting, or was it just shot normally?
Good question. No, I think we shot the ending towards the end. I think that's a really good question.
Well, that's good though. I think you should be lulled into thinking, like the audience was, thinking it's going to be a silly comedy, and then.
Wait, I have to ask, for those of you who are seeing the film for the first time, are you surprised?
Yeah.
No. Okay, how many people in the audience did this happen to?
They're lying.
How many people who saw this movie did this make a big difference in your life? Did it affect your life? I appreciate that. That's what I have when I go to conventions, and people come up to me and they tell me that, because of this film, they felt better about the choices they made. Some said I didn't make those choices that were made. Some people say I didn't get my girl pregnant because of this film. A lot of things happen.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, in your charming, unfiltered book that you're selling, and everyone should buy one if they haven't, you refer to Karen as, I believe, prey, as like a fawn. like what would, and it's funny, it's a theme from the book that, because you're so together, you're so brazen, and you still got it together, and you seem to play, a lot of times, until you got a great role in Better Off Dead, played kind of, I don't want to say weak, but women less confident than yourself. I mean, what's that like?
It's called acting, for sure. No, here's what's very interesting about this film. I was 19, but I had been in the business for 9 years before. So I knew, but it was my first film. But I'm a very deep person. And I'm very, like, with given the right role and the right things, I reveal, the more intricate, deeper parts of myself. But I do have a good sense of humor, aka Better Off Dead. This film had a lot of depth, and my goal in the film was to show something deeper. And it was interesting because when I got the script, I was just telling my daughter, like, watching the film has so much, like, TNA, and I'm like, oh, guys, you're gonna see it for that, but I thought, oh no, when we get into this film, when we get to the end, I'm gonna give it depth. But again, we tried to get the director to change the ending, but because he couldn't, then I had to backtrack, and I had to go, okay, how can I make you not see it coming? It's very hard not to see it coming and have you guys not hate me on the way. Because a lot of the lines were like, it was a little flippant and a little attitude, and I could not let the audience see me, because if you saw it, then you wouldn't want me with him. So I bet it probably made it worse.
But the great thing about what you're doing is you never lie. Like now that I've seen the movie 1,000 times, I'm a masochist. That like she never goes too far leading them on. Like, I mean, I can see, like, I'm like, Gary, can't read the signs. Can't you see? So it's like I'm very impressed by it. It makes me more impressed by the performance.
I can't believe we're sitting here.
Bleakley's where you belong.
I'm just shocked that we're still watching this film after, what is it, 40 years? Something like that?
And if you would have changed the ending, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's true. I believe that 100%. Go ahead.
So no, you got it. Well, I'm sorry. Well, in your book, you have all these lovely, super cute pictures of your teen modeling years. And then I go, what was the jump from doing that to cute little, with your curly hair and adorable jeans, and like, what's the jump from that to an R-rated comedy? I mean, were you aware what you were getting into?
Luck. It was luck. Okay, so yeah, like, I mean, I really wanted to be an actress so badly, and I had auditioned for so many things. I even auditioned for The Exorcist when I was like on London or something. I didn't have any idea what the words meant, but I was just
trying to
like,
get them to change the ending, I guess.
I don't know, like, but by the time I was 19, I was old enough to know, like, I knew how to play those themes. I knew how to play, I knew love, I knew about love, and I think that, I don't know, like, I'm a person who's very honest, and sometimes, I don't know, maybe that's not a good thing, but I do think that in my performances, I think people respond to it, and I mean, even watching it now, I remember I really had to hold back on my personality, because I'm a bigger I'm very, okay, here's the thing, I was very quiet growing up, hardly talked really, but so I can identify with Kieran as far as like being able to create a character that has more expression than not, right, and not using words to express a lot of her feelings, so I was comfortable with that. Also, by the way, I am deaf on my right ear, so I really rely heavily on verbal language, nonverbal communication. Like I look at people's eyes, and that's part of who I am. But when I got this part, yes, when I first got the script, I was like, The Last American Virgin. What kind of type is that? Like, what kind of film is this? Is it like porn? What is it? I was like, And at the time, you know, not every movie was even being made that you went for, so,
Yeah.
but it was the ending that made me say yes.
It made you say yes, but it's the ending that you thought they were gonna change and you wanted
Yeah.
them to change.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I just was like, I could see the depth. You know, I thought like, okay, there's this, and the other thing is my role had meaning. I think that to me was like, I wasn't, if my part was, you know, maybe one of the girls at the beginning, I probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But in the end, the whole thing was a fluke because I wasn't planning to go on the audition. And I was the day of a chemistry exam and I let my hair go curly. I'd never done that. I always straighten my hair. And by fluke, I went down and I didn't take the test. And I went down and auditioned and they said, yes, we're gonna fly you to LA. And if we like you, you're gonna stay and shoot the film. And if not, we're gonna send you back. So it really was luck. It was a moment in time. It was being ready. What do you say? Have everything ready when luck opportunity hits.
Now, the movie's a remake of a huge Israeli hit, Lemon Popsicle. Did Boaz show you that movie beforehand, or did you make me watch it?
No, he did show me one scene from it, which is when I walk in with to the grandmother's house. That was the only scene he showed me. Other than that, no, I didn't see anything. I didn't even really, it was just one scene. I'd never even seen it until, I haven't even seen, I don't know if I ever really saw the whole thing, but I saw later on most of it, which was amazing. Has anyone seen Lemon Popsicles? Okay, and the fascinating thing, and I highly recommend you see it, first of all, it takes place in the 1950s, which is really cool since this is the 80s, so I'm waiting for the 2025 or 26, I'm waiting for the new version. But
There's no versions left.
Right, no, there's no versions left, yeah, that's the point. But I really, what I loved about it was the shots are exactly the same because the cinematographer was the same. And so you will see the shot of me laying in, like after the abortion, same shot. You'll see me at the door, it's the same shot. You'll see us at the end, same shot. And I just think that's beautiful cinema. I mean, I just think that's magic cinema.
Well, yeah, Lemon Popsicle is an interesting movie, but it's, it's got subtitles, so any bleakness you just take for granted. This lulls you in. It doesn't have the soundtrack that this movie does. So when you get knocked on your head, you're like, oh, it can't be bad. They're playing Tommy Two-Tone. Like, nothing bad. This is a safe space. But now and then, a couple sequels, Hot Bubblegum and the notorious Lemon Popsicle 3, which I'm assuming everybody gets a happy ending there. Was there any thought of doing a sequel to Last American Virgin?
There were, I guess the guys were signed for like 3 films, but not me. I was out. They got rid of Karen.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, but I hear that Lemon Popsicle 3, actually Karen comes back, which is interesting. And,
Well, of course.
yeah, you gotta see Lemon Popsicle 3 to find
I
out.
mean, there's
about
gotta
Karen.
be like some cigar chopping producer like, we gotta get them back together.
Yeah.
Now, you say your daughter's in the audience, I gotta ask, how long did you keep Last American Virgin or Walt? Or when, did you show it to her when she was going through her teenage experience, or?
No, but we had a couple of funny things in our home. My son, who was maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 at the time, he comes to me in the kitchen and he says, Mom, there's this girl on TV, she looks just like you. And so I ran upstairs because I was cooking. I was like, what's this on VH1? I don't know what it is, right? And we watch it, and it's just about to get to the scene of the abortion, and Olivia, who's probably 7, I think, at the time, she yells out, Mom, Nick, cover your eyes, Mom's gonna be naked! So, and I thought it was one of the most beautiful moments in my life. That was like, yeah, we'll explain it later, just keep your eyes closed. So yeah, and it was VH1 sort of, or whatever, the MTV version, so everything was fine. But yeah, those moments happen in life. But actually, the first movie I think I showed her and my son was Better Off Dead. Anybody know Better Off Dead? watch cette film after you see this, right? I'm the next person, right?
Looking over your career, is that, would you say that been your favorite role, or would you say this was your favorite role?
Well, I gotta say, this movie is, I guess, my drama. Like it's got value. I think this film will. I really do wonder what people will remember me from, what films. And I always get 50-50, Virgin, and I know there's Amityville and Terror Vision and other stuff, and it's intense, it's adventure, of course. So I don't know, but this one, I can't dismiss it. I have to say.
Absolutely not.
I hated myself. I'm sorry, but it's true. I was like, oh.
Well, I compared, I went online and I compared you to the Kubrick close-ups of Nicholson in The Shining, and feeling unattractive. Knocking down the Clockwork Orange, and your look matches them and goes beyond that. So I'll keep your legacy going.
Thank you somewhere.
Now, I'm sure, I'm in your book, you make note, you're very clear that you have no regrets of taking a step back from acting, although you work constantly, but taking a bit of a step back to raise a family. Is there any role out there that you say, oh, God, I could have killed that, that's the one I wanted?
Oh, you mean that's out now?
That out in the past, or like a movie role?
Well, I really would have loved to have done Amadeus, just because it's.
Oh, yes,
beautiful.
Dianne she was very close with Elizabeth Behringer when she got the role.
It was between the two of us. We were flown to Czechoslovakia, and it was literally, we were in costume. It was literally down to, you stay, you go. That's what happened. Oh, it was, but
that's worse than the Last American Virgin.
Yes, it was traumatic.
And then Milos Forman pulled off his mask, and it was Lawrence. Yes. Well, I'm sure you have some rabid fans out there who let them have a go at throwing you a curveball.
I just want to say thank you for everyone for showing up and watching this film. It really means a lot to me. It's just a beautiful film, and I never expected, and I didn't even expect anyone to show up. Really, I thought, I guess I'm just going to be here by myself, watch the film with my daughter. Okay. But, thank you. Any questions?
The hand I see right here.
So this movie came out the same year as Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which also has a abortion theme to it.
Yeah.
Was there a feeling at the time that you guys were doing something really progressive? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, that's interesting. First of all, I want to point out my friend Amanda Wiss, who wound up doing that therapy, is in Fast Times, which props to her. Just saying, it was kind of a cool thing. They were all kind of working at the same time. The one thing with Virgin I want to bring up is that we did know about the film coming out. We did our film first, but Fast Times really hustled, and we were in competition with getting them out. Not that I had anything to do with it, but I do know that they were trying to get Virgin out before Fast Times. But it is interesting that they both had the abortion in it, and it wasn't like abortion suddenly became like the in thing, like let's do abortion. It was just, it was like not hot topic. It was just very, I have to say, the only thing about abortions, which was interesting, was it was a time when that wasn't considered a problem. It was considered an option, and it wasn't certainly something that anyone said, I'm going to use that as a form of birth control, or that it was just considered actually a sign of women's ability to have that done without, with it being more commonplace. But in a way, it's very just interesting. I never ever thought that particular issue would become something that we couldn't have as an option. It was very natural and it was very normal during that time. But again, it wasn't something that was casual. It wasn't something that was considered, like a backup for birth control. It was serious, and it was, any person who was ever pregnant during that time took it seriously, and it was always a big deal. Like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna have the baby or not, so, but it was definitely, it was interesting that it is in both films because it is a sign of times, for sure.
Yeah, and it's treated like just part of life, it's not like an issue thing.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
It was.
Like, I mean, today's teen film, they wouldn't touch abortion, they wouldn't even touch sexuality. Like they're so boring and bland. It was a different time.
It was it is fascinating to watch this film now because obviously there's wonderful music, the music look of the 80s, but it is the subject matter. The drinking of the Jack Daniels, the Coke, the fact that the kids were adults. Like, kids during the 80s were adults and didn't necessarily check in with their parents. They dealt with things on their own. It was a whole different world.
I mean, today a kid drinks half a Jack Daniels and he's dead in the next scene. Fired by law and be wrapped around the tree. So, okay, another abortion question we got.
I just wanna make an observation. So I grew up in the 80s and I remember seeing the movie as a kid and, being like a child and, so I haven't seen it for the first time until today. And I just wanna say that your gift of emotion and reaching out, you did it. So just, can we thank you for being here? Not because you were just beautiful, but you were authentic and you were real. And seeing it now, and now I'm turning 50 this year, and I'm like, thank you for bringing me back to like a more innocent time, and just, it's on that screen, thank you. Thank you.
Such innocent time, focus speech. Oh, great, catching the light with your arm very well.
Oh. I was gonna say is that, you said you were gonna, you guys were talking about doing different endings, like between the cast and you. What was the ending gonna be to you or to the cast?
Oh yeah, you guys, you actor/writers, what did you come up with at the clam bake?
Well, we just, I think at the end we would have at least expected, well, I know my personal choice. My personal choice would have been that, and you might have a problem with this, but I would have liked it if Gary actually fought for me at the end. Like, he just pushed him away and showed me that he wanted me. That would have, I think, been a really nice kind of.
I know Gary expects everything to come right to him. I mean, I may have been a nerd in high school, but I hated when nerds in movies get portrayed as like, I'm not a jock, so I should get the girl. Like, you have a sense of humor at least. Maybe something. Like, I'm still haunted by Sean Astin in Encino Man, where he gets the girl by just moaning like, I should have the girl because I'm not a jock. What are you then? You're not anybody. Say something.
There has to be some romance. There has to be some wanted passion. At least that's how I see it. I want the guy to go, I can't live without you. I want you forever. I want to be with you. That I can respond to. I think Karen would have responded to that. But
I thought your friend was cute too. I was like,
Thank you for
Robertson.
that.
I thought, I'll be happy with King Robertson. Take me in the front seat.
I'll say you were Kitty Kitty, okay, just now.
Okay. Oh, right up there.
Yeah. Does Karen's character, does she think that she's a villain? Because from my perspective, and maybe just from 2025, it feels like, thanks for the ride, Gary. No, I don't have a boyfriend. Thank you, bye. And we're on his side just because he's trying so hard and we're following him. But if I were her, I would be like, well, yeah, he's my ex-boyfriend and I miss him. Why are you shocked?
Right, and that's a very interesting point. Okay, so how I saw Karen was, she was a feather in the wind. She wasn't a full-formed person yet. So if you say you like her, she likes you. If you like, oh, you like me, she goes wherever, whoever's taking control. She was not in control. She was not a full-formed person yet. So to me, that's how I played her. So I did not see her as a villain. I just saw her as someone who was just kind of responding to what she's getting. He kisses her, she kisses him.
She
But I
could have
didn't
waited
really
another
like
week to
her.
get back then. I mean, it's less than a week after the abortion. I mean, you have to go out with Gary, I understand that, but
It was a less than, it was.
Dave Gibbons' boyfriend, you could have waited a couple more weeks.
Also, like, let's face it, you know, I mean, that's, you know, you break up with someone, it takes a long time, even, it takes forever sometimes to get over someone. So that person always has that kind of little hook they can pull. And, you know, you don't always have to go with it, but you still feel. And I think that, again, that's love, you know, if you didn't feel it, that person wouldn't matter to you. And at the end, I don't know if anyone noticed, but I'm crying. Because it did mean something to me, but it wasn't gonna go forward because it wasn't happening, and I felt bad at the end, you know, I dropped my eyes, I feel bad, but I can't go to him. He has to make a move, he has to show.
Absolutely, I mean, like I say, it's every millimeter of performance at the end is pitch perfect. All right, you guys can ask another question, but I got the hug. Anybody else? Am I not seeing a hand?
Back here.
Oh, wait, there.
Oh, back there in the dark. Does anybody shut up?
Were there any other young actors who were up for the roles in the cast that we would have known about, or people who read for the parts?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so here we go. Some good
Oh, I don't
information.
know this.
So I know that Boaz had looked like thousands of girls. He told me, I didn't even know this. Like, I was one of the last people. But I think what happened was they had made a poster, as Canon Films often does. They make a poster where they sell a movie, they used to sell a movie on the poster, and it wasn't even written yet or made yet. It was just like, and this is the Luxembourg Virgin.
Oh,
And they
yes,
had.
the AFM issue of Variety used to be my favorite issue. It was just stuff with movies that never happened.
That's what it was, that you never knew the movie was gonna happen. And Kristen Alfonso was originally supposed to do the part of Karen. But she looked like me, dark eyebrows, dark hair, but she had just got the soap opera. And I think that because of that, they were like, well, we wanna look for somebody. I don't know how soon she got it or whatever, but she was definitely a person that was just before me, because when I got to my screen test, her picture was on the wall. And I guess that they were considering having her do it, but maybe she just turned it down. I think she wanted to do the soap opera, which I think she has stayed on until, I don't know, forever. She's been on that soap opera. So Kristen Alfonso, I knew she was up for it, but then, I think maybe the look, the dark curly hair, the dark eyebrows, maybe that was a look that was, I don't know, it just was, maybe it was Israeli fashion or something. It was definitely something that was not in vogue. I was the first actress to bring dark curly hair on screen.
Yeah,
This
baby.
film was the first one. Everybody else was like, and not as a team. It was curly haired actresses, they're dark haired, but no one was a team with curly hair. It was considered a pariah to have curly hair.
Well, we have some Japanese torture that's dying to happen at 10 o'clock. So I totally have one more question. Got a closer?
Okay, so back there.
Okay, in the back.
Hi, thank you very much.
Oh, hey there.
Hi, I grew up on lemon popsicle.
Great.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, unfortunately, for some reason, back home, they show it to you when you're like 5 already. But, yeah, anyway, you did an amazing job, you're fantastic. I saw the tear, I saw it. I wonder if you felt comfortable, shooting it with the nudity and stuff. Like, I know back then there were no intimacy coordinators.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I kind of don't want to ask you because I'm scared.
No. Believe me, everybody in the audience is thinking that right now.
Yes, tell us.
There detail about it in my book, but I sold out of them, so, but,
Oh, yeah.
You can get it at DianneFranklin.com, but anyway. Okay, but, here's the deal, my parents were European, and in my family, growing up, and I was raised as an only child, my sister was half-sister was way older, she got married when I was born, basically, so, as an only child, my parents, c'est votre children, Australian, c'est francis, but of course I didn't talk like this, I talk like this, because I was brought up in Long Island, okay? So, thank you very much, alright, so, but, their philosophy, and I think this is an interesting one, is that nudity is natural, but violence is not good. So when I was growing up, you know, if there was a movie with a lot of violence, then they would be like, oh, we don't want you to go for that, you know, guns, shooting, whatever. But then but nudity was like, okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. So it's interesting because I wasn't, my parents were also like grandparents, like they were, my mom had me when she was 40. So I was just raised differently, and my feeling was, and I actually went to them when I saw there was nudity in the film, I went to my parents and I said, listen, I want to do this film, but is that okay with you? And so I asked my parents if that was okay, they're like, no, that's fine, but then we love to do this. Because my parents were not in the entertainment business, they were not actors, so it wasn't like I had a connection, and I knew that this was my golden moment, like it was my, what do they call that? Big break. Big break. So that is where and I thought, the other thing was, you know, I thought, well, my body's okay, but if they think it's great, sure, then that's all good, you know. Now, there's a lot of other girls who have much better bodies than me, like bravo to them, you know. So, and I was nervous, certainly. I was definitely nervous doing it. It wasn't like I was used to doing that. But I really felt like the storyline mattered. It mattered to the storyline, and I think I think it made me more vulnerable. So I'm glad I did it. And now I look back and go, yeah, all right, that's not bad.
All right, thank you so much, Dianne, that was incredible.